Hello. In the past, you've talked about homeless people. The correct term to use now is the unhoused. The unhoused. Well, now, that will certainly make it a lot less cold out there, won't it? That will make the wind less chilly and the rain less wet. Everybody trapped out there in the elements with no place to go can rest easy knowing that sanctimonious semantics is coming to the rescue. Because once again, changing around the terminology and renaming urgent social issues saves the day. What a city. The Scott Adams that died is the guy who drew the Dilbert comic strip. You don't say? Really? All right. You know, neither one of these is a question. These are statements. This is a Q&A. Dilbert. I remember that comic strip. You know the thing about that comic strip, like most of you, I love that motion picture Office Space. It's a brilliant comedic masterpiece. But I had one contention with that film. You might recall to mind that in the closing sequence of that movie, wherein which Milton does what he says he's going to do, he sets the building on fire. The camera does a close-up on one of the little cubicles, and you can see that some comic strips have been cut out of the newspaper and put up on the wall. People used to do that, you know. They used to take comic strips, cut them out of the newspaper, and scotch tape them to the walls of their little cubbyhole cubicles as part of their decor, you know, kind of personalize it. But as the camera comes in close, you can see it's from the comic strip. I think it was called Kathy, which was about a young woman and all of her misadventures. It was funny, it was clever, but it was not especially corporate. Whereas the Dilbert comic strip was almost exclusively corporate. And it had always occurred to me that if there's any comic strip at all that should have been up on the wall of that cubicle, going up in flames, it should have been the Dilbert comic strip. I can remember reading a news article once, decades ago, and the title of it was something to the effect of, "Be aware of the effects of the Dilbert comic strip." And the article imparted that, yes, this is a funny, witty, creative comic, but at the same time, it sort of validates the entire corporate dynamic. It kind of makes it acceptable. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not similar to that sitcom you have called The Office. Sort of oh, well, you know, this is a lousy setup, but it is our job, so we should just smile and laugh and go along with it, you know. That's what that article was warning about the Dilbert comic strip. And I always thought it should have been that on the wall of that cubicle, being set on fire. It should have been the Dilbert comic strip going up in flames. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't you once have a weird encounter with some kid getting bulk jelly beans at a store? That was so long ago. Yes. Oh yes, I most certainly did. Some of you might not know this, but the Winco store, they used to put the after holiday candy on sale. And I mean bargain basement discount prices. Sometimes as low as 25 cents a pound. That's $2.50 would get you 10 pounds. And even thin, a fiver would get you 20, you know. And I remember it was the day after Easter, and I wanted those bulk jelly beans at 25 cents a pound. And so I showed up there early in order to beat the crowds, and got to the bulk bin, and it was almost deserted except for one lone kid. Stationed, parked, planted right in front of the gumdrops? No. The licorice pastels? No. The jelly beans. So I figured, all right, swell. We'll just have to wait for this kid to buzz off and then get whatever's left. And there had better be something left, I tell you what. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. What's taking this kid so long? I can see that he's moving, he's doing something, but all I could hear was this noise, the sound of that metal scoop going into those jelly beans. Scoop! Rattle, 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 plink. Rattle, 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 plink. Rattle, 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 plink. Scoop, rattle, 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 plink. What the hell is he doing? And I finally sort of sidled up alongside of him, pretended to be interested in some lemon drops, and I look over to see what's going on here. He's got this great big bulging bag of jelly beans. He's scooping them out of that barrel, and he's sorting through them, one at a time. It seems that he only wanted the red ones, and the yellow ones, and the green ones. He didn't want the blue ones. He didn't want the orange ones. He didn't want the black ones. He didn't want the white ones. He didn't want the purple ones, and he didn't want the pink ones. He only wanted the red ones, and the yellow ones, and the green ones. Scoop, rattle, 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 plink. Rattle, 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 plink. Rattle, 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 plink. Scoop, rattle, 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 plink. Rattle, 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 plink. Rattle, 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 plink. And I looked at his profile, and I realized he was not merely concentrated, not merely focused. He was fixated on his task. He was almost quivering. And that's when I figured it out. Okay, this kid has a screw loose. This kid is a mental case. And if you so much as speak to him, if you question what he's doing, if you intervene in any way, he's going to come unhinged. He's going to have a conniption fit right here in the store. And then there'll be jelly beans flying all over the place. So just back away. Back quietly away. We'll just come back later when hopefully he's gone. And I went and did some other shopping, and I came back over half an hour later, and he was finally, blessedly gone. So I got my jelly beans at 25 cents a pound, most definitely. But I tell you what, I never, ever forgot that.